Hi guys, I'm Shmee, hello and welcome back to the channel where you join me back in London having returned from my trip with the G63 and the trailer. I've had a busy couple of days moving some things around, using the trailer to even move some furniture, and I've actually gone and left 3 of the Shmee-mobiles over in Germany while I'm back here in the UK. But the first thing we are going to do today is head over in the Lusso to Topaz Detailing, where they have something pretty special that I would like to check out. The very first in the world chassis number 1 Bugatti Devo. We're going to go over in the Lusso, which thankfully no longer has a flat battery, to go take a look at the Devo, but also while we're there, they currently have my 675 LT Spider, which they're getting ready so I can collect it in a couple of days and return it to the garage after what has been far too long that it's almost like collecting a new car. I can't wait to get back behind the wheel. So we'll head over then in the Lusso to Topaz to go and check out the Bugatti Devo. The good news this afternoon, for me at least, is that all is well with the Ferrari. I went over with the G63 to the storage to collect Xiaomi, slightly worried that it might again be plagued by one of these flat batteries, but thankfully that is not the case, and in a second we will have the thunderous startup of the V12. Now with the G63 over the last couple of days, since I took Jer Collector's SVJ Roadster over to Novatech and filmed with the Novatech Senna, I've actually used the trailer to transport some furniture. Since then I've got back to the UK, taken the trailer back to Barwell Trailers where I rented it, and now the G63 is about to go off on another journey back to Germany, this time with Tony from Turbo Transport, who is going to take it with his trailer over to Apex at the Nürburgring to collect the Ford GT to bring that back. The Senna is going to stay over with Jer Collector for something I've got planned next month, and also the SLS Black Series is currently at the Nürburgring with Rentec, who are investigating that, and I'm going to be heading back out there with the 675 LT Spider in the very near future. That's all really confusing. For the moment though, I'm going to be taking the Lusso over. Let's get this started, which always obviously sounds incredible. Not necessarily the most fuel-efficient daily car to use, but one I certainly enjoy. And in terms of smiles per mile, you can't really get a whole lot better than the sound when you press this red button. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Obviously, warm engine. I've just been out with the car, so we will go to Topaz. We will go and see this Bugatti Devo, which is very, very exciting, and the 675 LT Spider, and then, well, yeah, let's get straight on over there. My navigation at the moment is taking me on what I like to call a Waze route, where you end up on back roads and you're not entirely sure if it turns out to be the best way, but it's probably avoiding some traffic anywhere. But it is a beautiful, or perhaps I should say beautiful afternoon, a lovely time to take a car like this out for a drive, even though this car is not particularly well suited to the centre of London. If you know driving around here at all, you have things like this everywhere: speed bumps, narrow streets, there are width restrictions, places a car like this can't even go through. We have 20-mile-an-hour speed limits popping up just about everywhere. We're in one at the moment, but they seem to be adding a lot of new ones. There are all sorts of charges, like the congestion charge, the low emission zone charge, all sorts of different things. Basically, London is not very car friendly at all, let alone supercar friendly. But we're heading the short distance out towards Topaz, and I tell you what, when you go over some of the bumps in this thing, the suspension rides so well. Recognise there with the guy in the Focus, I think? This car just, I mean, for this kind of thing, for a 690 horsepower car, and I talk often about what could possibly replace this, basically nothing could really replace this car. And I said that back when I had the FF, the only thing could be the Lusso, and now that I have the Lusso, the only thing really could be a successor to the Lusso. The thing that's so good though, just to lower the window a notch, he says we're not going to be able to accelerate anywhere, but that noise of the V12, that always there, omnipresent, wonderful sound that this car's engine makes. And again, thank you. That's fun. Yes, as we slightly meander through this bit of traffic, this, even at slow speeds in the 20-mile-an-hours, it's just heavenly, and it's a lovely place to be. So that is why I enjoy driving the Lusso quite so much. I've arrived here at Topaz then, and my timing is impeccable because just behind me, inside the wash bay, the 675 LT Spider is just going through the process. I think we might even be able to catch it getting the snow foam just now. That sounds quite nice, 355. So we will see a little bit of this in action as the LT gets snow foamed, all to do with removing the contaminants or any bits of dust or particles that might be on the surface before the new panels are going to get PPF. Remember, it's been painted around the front following having some oxidation issues. So we now have a new carbon fiber bonnet that's been installed, and obviously the wings and front parts, and even the doors actually, because of the way the paint had to be blended. So these all need to get PPF to be redone almost, well, 4 years precisely after it was done the first time. So I guess we're going to see it going snow foam. Let me come and get out of the way. This always looks spectacularly cool to see. I don't know what it is, but there's something about snow foam which just looks awesome when you see a car disappearing beneath the products that are being put over the top of it. Obviously loosening everything up, but looking magnificent, especially with the purple shining through. The snow foam has been rinsed off, which means the LT is going to be patted down using the towels for the purpose to dry it before it can go into the workshop. And speaking of workshop, come through because there is something we need to come and take a look at. Now we will come back out to the 675 LT Spider in a moment, but in front of me here is the car that I have come to check out, which is going to be moved right under the lights in a second, but we're here to see chassis number 1, Bugatti Devo, the first customer car out of a run of only 40 Devos that are going to be made in total, and it's sat right here. How special is that? First up, that's always funny with the snow foam. The LT is being taken outside to do a little bit of a shuffle around, so that means we will get this colour in the sunshine looking wonderful, especially today. Look at that. Look at that, the blue sparkle in the Orion purple paintwork. I've missed this car so much. I think it looks spectacular, and I cannot wait for the adventures coming up with that before long, when it's all done here and it's possible to take it on out again and go for some proper drives and a big adventure, taking it back over to Germany. I think you can probably guess where it's going to be headed first. Back in it comes. Familiar spot, although back when this car was PPF'd originally, remember it still has the roof sections and some of the parts around the back from original. It was actually done in Topaz's old unit before this one was even used for the purpose. So this is back in. I'm just going to hover on the lift at the moment, which is what takes cars upstairs for the Topaz skin work and the booth up there. But yeah, I think there's going to be a bit of a shuffle around, and we will get the Devo out in order to take a proper look at it. Look at the back of this. It's going to be started then and pulled out forwards. Wow, that's louder than I expected. Obviously the 8-litre quad-turbo W16, this car is 1,500 horsepower. Just look at the back of it, look at this design. Absolutely crazy. You have the mix of the painted, the satin painted sections, along with all the exposed carbon in the lower areas. Special wheel design for the car. It's 35 kilos lighter than the Chiron, on which it's loosely based. Has 90 kilos more downforce, thanks of course to having the much higher rear wing, the sharp fin continuing the Bugatti style philosophy that we've seen on the recent cars. You've got the double diffuser out on either side of the car. This thing, well, it's Bugatti's most dynamic and capable track performing vehicle. 40 cars, and they're 5 million euros net. 5 million euros for a Bugatti Devo, and they were all sold, get this, all 40 were sold before they ever even showed the car for the first time, which I was at the event at the Quail out during Monterey Car Week 2 years ago in August, so August 2018. It's coming back in a second. The noise of this, deep burbles, just an incredible sound. Obviously multiple cars moving around at the moment, which is why it's quite so noisy. In fact, bonus points, you can recognise another V8. Give you a clue, 3.9 litre, fairly limited edition twin turbo V8. Anyway, for the moment, we'll take a proper look at this. Just feast your eyes over this crazy thing, which we can now take in fully with a proper walk around to go through the details. Of course, any Devo is a rare and special thing, but this, as I said, even more so because it is literally the first customer car in the entire world. As you can see here, it is chassis 001, the first of the 40 customer cars that will be built in total by Bugatti of the Devo. So it's a huge thanks to the owner of the car who has made it possible to share it with you today here during my visit to Topaz Detailing. excluding. Now the Devo is the third new model to come from the new era Bugatti under the Volkswagen Group ownership, following the Veyron and the Chiron, and like both of those two, it is also named after a famous Bugatti racing driver. The Veyron was after Pierre Veyron, the Chiron after Louis Chiron, the Devo after Albert Devo, who back in the 1920s was twice the winner of the Targa Florio, a famous race back at the time, and it makes sense therefore that his name has found its way onto the most agile Bugatti model introduced to date. Now the Devo is quite a departure for Bugatti. Before this, the Veyron had spawned a number of different variants like the Super Sport and the Grand Sport Vitesse, the Chiron likewise with the Chiron Sport, and also the Chiron now Super Sport 300 Plus and the Pur Sport. But the Devo is the first time that Bugatti have had a simultaneous, even more special, even rarer, even more exclusive model. 40 units, 5 million euros net of taxes, a special crazy design as you can see looking around it. And this was the first introduction under Stefan Winkelmann after he came over from Lamborghini to become the president of Bugatti. So he had overseen the launches of the likes of the Veneno and the Centenario, and this car then arrived when he was at Bugatti along with Centodieci, La Voiture Noire and the Chiron Supersport 300 Plus and the Pur Sport. So you can see how the range is expanding. When you look at this though, just take it in. The design is brutal. It's separated into two segments. You have the upper 2/3 with the satin grey paintwork and the lower third mostly with the exposed carbon fibre. You've got all of the details of the Bugatti Racing Blue, the colours of the French flag, the blue, white and red on both sides as well. Obviously the fixed wing around towards the back, sitting behind this shark fin, the Bugatti style of having that centre line which also runs through to the interior. But you've got new things like the Nacre duct that you can see up here, that shape that encourages air to flow through. You've got the louvres to reduce swelling in the wheel arches, an entirely new design as well for the headlights. The horseshoe grille is lower and wider, which gives even more sportiness from it. You can see the shapes and design that's going on all around the car as well. The splitter extending out further towards the front for more downforce, 90 kilos more downforce than the Chiron, as well as being lighter weight, but still retaining back here that famous 8-litre quad-turbo W16 engine, in this case 1,500 horsepower, 1,600 newton meters of torque, which means this car goes up to 380 kilometers per hour. That's the limited top speed, which is 236 miles per hour. Of course, it's also four-wheel drive and has a dual clutch gearbox. Then around the back, you look at some of this as well, that exhaust design, the quad style shapes that you have from it, but the way it's designed, then even the additional exhaust I've just noticed there that sits in the diffuser. I hadn't actually spotted that before, the way it's just integrated into the underside, and then a lot of the rear is open for the cooling. You can see the exhaust system sitting just inside. So the shapes all for airflow, for being agile, for being the most track focused, as well as very special limited edition super rare car. Now I'm going to come around and show you the interior as well over here. Just open up the door, which is almost that inside flap that you have. Pull that open. We're inside, obviously packaged for transport and the like. In this car, you have quite a special look. You will notice from the seats, there is basically a dual tone design going on. The driver zone is all with the blue Alcantara, and the passenger zone is with the charcoal grey. Now, a few things specific to the Devo, having the satin anodized center console and all of the toggles and controls. The steering wheel also has the red mode selector and engine start. And I've always been a big fan of how the dashboard reads up to 300 miles per hour, 500 kilometers per hour, depending on the region of the car. It's also finished with the satin carbon for the door cards and this distinct and unique look for the interior. Now, if we open up the front, just to show you quickly the plaque that is worn inside there, of course you have the Devo emblem here, and also this Bugatti curve, which you know on the Chiron comes all the way out and round, obviously gives a different effect by swooping back so much more aggressively. But back to the front, to open this up, there is a catch just inside. In here, 1 of 40. The plaque, each car has the 1 of 40 plaque with their unique chassis number, obviously worn as well. Small little storage, you're not going to be fitting particularly much in there. Toolkit, instruction manual and the like, but let's close that back down. Gently does it, give a little press in the middle and it clicks into place. So what an unbelievable thing. Amazing to see this car here, to be able to take a look at the Bugatti Devo. just take that in. Imagine what that would look like driving out on the roads. And of course it makes my 675 LT look, well, fairly normal in comparison, but needless to say, I'm very excited that this is going to be back in the garage in no time at all. It's been gone for far too long. It will now get paint protection film like the Devo. It will be done on the various panels. Obviously in the case of this, they've been templated out in advance. This car is being templated with all of its awkward shapes to make sure that every single panel is covered and protected, all of the leading edges, all of the, well, everything that might perhaps go on the car, the satin, the gloss, you name it, it will be fully protected. I can't wait though to get this back out, counting the days now until the 675 LT can be picked up and driven. The Devo, by the way, is actually one of 9 hypercars here at Topaz at the moment. The other 8 are all cars that I can't share with you. Needless to say though, this is pretty spectacular, an amazing opportunity to be able to see it, to take it all in. Now just comes getting the LT finished up, then out on the roads, and soon off on another adventure. For today though, again, a big thanks to the owner, a big thanks as well to Topaz. Don't forget they also have their YouTube channel, the link is down below if you'd like to find out more about the work that's being done, some of the detailing and paint protection film. For now though, that is all. Thank you very much for watching. As always guys, that is it for this time, and I'll see you again very soon. Cheers!